How's everyone doing? Today I have a Blu-ray and DVD update. Look at that nice stack right there. And as always, if you've seen any of these movies or TV shows, definitely let me know what you think of them. First up from Warner Brothers Home Entertainment is Wrath of the Titans. This is the Blu-ray DVD Ultraviolet digital copy combo pack. It has a nice slipcover right there. And this is the sequel to the recent remake of Clash of the Titans. And I love the original one with the Ray Harryhausen. That was just an all-time classic for me. And the remake was actually pretty decent. I liked it a lot more than the critics seemed to. And Wrath of the Titans is a decent sequel. Not as good as the remake in my opinion, but still enjoyable. Very aesthetically appealing, some great special effects, definitely some great visuals. And you have the core cast back with Sam Worthington, Liam Neeson, and Ralph Fiennes. And in this one, you have the betrayal by Ares, and Ares teams up with Hades to release Kronos. And Kronos has been in prison for all these, eons essentially, and Hades has been kind of watching over him in the underworld. And so Ares kind of betrays him and teams up with Hades to release Kronos because they want their immortality back. And from there, basically Zeus has to team up with Perseus and basically have to stop everything. And there's more to it than that. I don't want to give too much away, but there's definitely some endearing moments going on with the whole family right there. I don't want to get too much into it, but again, you see Kronos. Kronos was just awesome, and you find out Perseus isn't the only demigod. There's another demigod, so he teams up with him and Andromeda as well. They band together to stop Ares and to stop Kronos and the destruction of all humanity essentially. The visuals in here were very aesthetically appealing, some fast-paced action here. Again, some great characters in here, and the actors played the roles very well. It's a very good action-adventure fantasy movie. It's a popcorn action-adventure fantasy movie, and I think it was a decent follow-up. Not as good as the remake, but still very enjoyable just the same. There you go, there's the back right there. I'll go ahead and show you the inside as well, the slipcover. And you have the ultraviolet code right there. And the discs are very uniform. I was expecting the black ones because, Warner Brothers usually does the black discs. There's the ones right there with kind of the silver finish. The Blu-ray and the DVD. Wrath of the Titans looks and sounds awesome-tacular. It's just a visual treat with all the different creatures and the fires and the action, the fight sequences. Again, looks incredible on Blu-ray. And next up from the History Channel is Pawn Stars Volume 4. Now, I've never even seen a single episode of the Pawn Stars before this, and I thought this was enthralling. I thought the guys were just really hilarious, honestly. And I think they said they had something like 48 employees at this world-famous gold and silver pawn shop that never closes. It's never closed once. But the show actually focuses around 4 main members of the cast right there. You have the grandfather, the father, and then the son right there, Big Hoss, and Big Hoss's good friend, Chumley. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know why they have Chumley working there. It's crazy to me. I don't know if he's a little slow or what's going on, if they just keep him for like comedic value. But so many different episodes, he kind of shows that he shouldn't really be working a store like this. There's one episode in here in particular where he gets this album from Bob Dylan, and Bob Dylan's in town, and he gives the album to Chumley to go find him and have him sign it. So Chumley gets him to sign it, but he has it sign it to Chumley. And so that kind of ruins the whole value. Nobody's going to want to buy it when it's personalized to somebody named Chumley. So that was just one of the many incidents with Chumley. But on the other hand, Chumley is really good at other things that some of the other cast members aren't. Like, he's really good at knowing about basketball shoes and basketball in general and things like that. So he does have some areas of expertise, but on the other hand, he seems really dim-witted. But I guess there's the comedic value there. But this was just a really enthralling show. It's the top-rated series from the History Channel, and it's a 2-disc DVD. And if you've never seen the Pawn Stars, I highly recommend it. If you enjoy Antique Roadshow or things like that where people bring in their treasures, it's just something that's really entertaining. I think most people can relate to this with going to a garage sale and trying to find some hidden treasures. It's kind of a similar thing like this. People go there and bring these things that you never thought you'd ever see, signatures from all these different famous people, different just really incredible things, really old guns, just antiques, novelties, toys, cars. They had one where they had this big giant RV, some just really cool stuff in here, from motorcycles, the cars, to just everything you can imagine, signatures from famous presidents. They had the Lindbergh case. They had some actual evidence from the Lindbergh case, which I thought was crazy. And it's just really interesting. I love the heck out of this. Pawn Stars, you have a new fan. I love this one. And Volume 4 includes 16 fan favorite episodes on 2 discs. And again, if you've never seen the Pawn Stars, highly recommend it. Love this one. And next up from 20th Century Fox is Wilfred Season 1 on DVD. Now, this was actually a previous release show in Australia. It ran from in 2007 and 2010. They decided to stop the show over there in Australia, and I guess FX bought the rights, so they decided to pick it up. They changed a few things, but it's very similar to the Australian version from what I've read. And I like how James Gann, who's the title character in the Australian version, is back in the US version playing the title character as well, as Wilfred right there, the dog. licking Elijah Wood's face, which is gross and creepy. But, you know, another thing I'll say too about James Gann in the suit and everything, he looks all scruffy. He kind of looks like a serial killer. He looks kind of crazy and kind of, I don't know, I was really surprised by that. I was thinking somebody a little bit more, I don't know, subtle and easy and, you know, comfortable. But he kind of looks edgy, and I guess that kind of adds to the character as well. But I really enjoy Wilfred for the, you know, different life metaphors that the show has, and the whole existential vibe that it has going on. It's very dark and moody and quirky, and it's actually really enjoyable. If you're into those kind of dark things that, you know, covers all kinds of range of topics from suicide to sexuality to all kinds of things like that. And like I said before, there's a lot of drug usage going on and things too. But if that sounds like anything that's up your alley, I would definitely recommend checking out Wilfred. And Elijah Wood, right there, he's the main character. He's basically this kind of depressed guy. He tries to commit suicide. In the middle of trying to commit suicide for the umpteenth time, his neighbor comes over and says, "Can you watch my dog, Wilfred?" But Elijah Wood's character, he sees Wilfred as an actual man in kind of like a dog suit, but everybody else sees him as an actual dog. And throughout the whole series, basically Wilfred teaches him all these different life lessons, and it's very dark and quirky. Again, very dark humor. There's lots of great cameos all throughout. You have Ethan Suplee as the neighbor. You have Ed Helms in this as well. He's from The Hangover and The Office. Just that, the one with Ed Helms was just really hilarious to me. And Ethan Suplee's character is really funny too, with the whole porn thing. Like I said, there's a lot of dark humor in here. They smoke pot and every single episode. They drank, they act crazy, they talk about everything that you can imagine. But again, like I said, it's very dark. It does deal with his depression, suicide, and, you know, all throughout the whole series, is he really, you know, is he imagining this? Is he dead? There's all kinds of different things that he's questioning himself. And the season finale was actually an excellent season finale. Kind of leaves you wanting more, and I can't wait to see what they do with the second season. If you like really dark and quirky humor, I think you will enjoy this one. And the season 2 premiere is June 28th, so watch out for that. And this is loaded with more unrated tail-wagging antics. A bunch of special features on here. Mary Jane mashup, deleted scenes, Wilfred and Bear, a love affair, which that was hilarious. I love that bear. The Fox Movie Channel presents Life After Film School. Wilfred at Comic-Con 2011. So very cool. I'll go ahead and show you the inside. Here's an advertisement for Louis, season 2 right there. And then there's Wilfred right there for the next season. And then right here is one thing where they have the contents of disc 1, and then for disc 2 is actually behind the disc. It would have been neater to do something with that where they had maybe both right there, because you have to take the disc out to see the second disc to see what's behind there, the contents. But there you go, there's the disc artwork. I'll go ahead and show you. It is a recycled case, but it goes over the contents of disc 2, different episodes, and then some nice artwork right there on both discs. I think it was a really nice touch that James Gann was in this one as well. And next up is Decisions from 2011. This is Corey Haim's very last movie that he appeared in. And Corey Haim was really the standout in this movie. There's a couple actors that did decently, like I believe Mike Foy, and then I think the actor who played Jose did a very good job as well. But the acting was a big part of this one that didn't work for me personally, especially Corey Haim's partner in here, the woman. I didn't really care for her acting at all. Some of the other characters, their acting was just really flat, just seemed unnatural. And this is basically a heist movie. It's basically a group of friends that get together and they have all kinds of money issues, different reasons. One guy owes somebody $20,000. Another guy, he's trying to get some studio money because he wants to be a rapper. He has to get money to pay for the studio, and just different things like that. And they get together to try to rob this bank, but they actually find out, you know, there's no money there. It's a, I think it's like a lending thing. I'm not sure what I can't remember exactly what it was, but there's no money there. But this one guy actually sees a briefcase, and it belongs to Corey Haim. The briefcase is filled with, I think, $1 million. So people are going to go try to find him, and they have it on the news. They see who they are, so the cops are finding them, and it's a big mess in my opinion. It didn't work. The whole thing about this was morality. The film starts out with these little kids kind of stealing stuff from a local bodega, and there's this guy, this bum, who tells them, hey, and he's got this old kind of like a Columbo voice going on, and he tells them the story of this whole mixed up adventure, and he's like, hey, little kids, let me tell you the story about these decisions, how one bad decision could turn into a whole bunch. But it's not really the case. A lot of these characters are flawed to begin with, and there's a whole life road. It's not like this one decision, you know, made everything happen. A lot of these characters were involved in gangs and stuff like that, and Corey Haim's character was kind of a corrupt cop. And so it's not just like one decision, it was just a whole ton of different ones. So it kind of didn't even work for the whole idea, the concept of the film. And that whole bum thing, I just hated that guy's voice, just everything about that guy annoyed me. And even the ending just annoyed me. The way that the ending played out is like that would never happen in a million years, especially what transpired right before that. It's just like, hey, there you go. No, it would never happen like that. But there's a little tribute on here to Corey Haim, if you can call it a tribute. It's not too much of a tribute. It's just some of the cast members talking about how they worked with him and, you know, how he was a pleasure to work with and things like that. I mean, that's good and respectful. You kind of have to do that considering that this is Corey Haim's last movie, and that's really going to be the biggest draw for this movie because there's not much substance to here. There's nothing really great here. The acting, the script, the writing, the dialogue, nothing very worthy here. The biggest draw to this is going to be Corey Haim's last movie. And if you're a Corey Haim fan, maybe check it out. I couldn't recommend it, but considering it's his last movie, you know, maybe for sentimental value, check it out. It's not a very good movie at all. I would rate this like a generous 4 out of 5. That's being very generous. And this is released by Inception Media. I mean, Inception Media did a good job with its release. I have exclusive behind-the-scenes interviews with cast members and stuff like that. This whole movie kind of follows the course of 24 hours right here. And I'll go ahead and show you what the inside artwork looks like. Right there, same as the cover. I can't fault Inception Home Media for this release. It's a good release, but the movie itself isn't very good. So there you go, Decisions with Corey Haim, the very last movie ever started. May he rest in peace. And next up, from Vivendi Home Entertainment, is Iron Man Armored Adventures Season 2 Volume 1. And this basically is a cartoon animated show following Tony Stark as a 16-year-old kid, and all the cast and characters are Rhodey and everybody. They're all 16-year-old kids, all the villains as well, and it follows them around. I think the animation was done very well. It's pretty engaging. The first story arc is basically how Tony Stark, you know, he's attacked and he's in the hospital, and just how he gets over everything. He builds a new suit, and like I said, the animation is very good. I would say check this one out if you're a fan of animated superhero shows. It's very entertaining, kind of a unique take considering that they're kids. There you go. This artwork looks like right there. And there are 6 episodes in this release. And next up from Inception Home Media is the Kane Files, and this stars Ethan Embry and Drew Fuller, and there's actually a few other recognizable faces in here as well. Basically, Drew Fuller's character, he used to be like a hitman, and he's trying to do one last job to pay some bills. His wife is pregnant, and so he wants to, you know, they already have a kid to begin with, and the second one's just going to put him over the hump, and he loses his job as well. So one last hit to, you know, finally make the money and get out completely. And there he is right there on the back, except, you know, when he does the job, that he's kind of double-crossed, and he ends up going to jail, but he ends up, you know, getting out of jail. And Ethan Embry's character ends up playing a corrupt cop, and he's trying to kill him, and so it's a kind of a battle for survival. And Drew Fuller's character is actually trying to get his revenge and kind of, you know, get out alive and try to get away from the cops as well, because he's a wanted man, because people actually think he, you know, he did this thing and he escaped and everything like that. I'll go ahead and show you the disc artwork right there. It's a decent movie. It's definitely worth a one-time watch, especially if you're into action movies dealing with, you know, corrupt cops and revenge films like that, where there's a lot of action and fast-paced things going on, and people are being shot at, and, you know, punched, and cars are flipping over, and things like that. You know, this jailbreak, and there you go. I thought the whole cast played their parts very well, especially the 2 leads with Drew Fuller and Ethan Embry. And next up from the Smithsonian Channel is Titanoboa, the monster snake. Basically, this is about how they find a vertebrae from a snake from millions of years ago, and they figure it's going to be this huge giant snake. So they're basically, you know, digging up that whole area to see if they can find more stuff like that, and they compare it to the giant snakes that live now, and from there they can make a model of how big this will actually be, and end up being this monster snake. I think it was something like 80 feet. They built a model of it to kind of give you an idea, and it was just crazy. And they figured way back in the day that, you know, this whole area was kind of a lush swampland. And I think they found the vertebrae was in South America, and they figured back in the day that this big giant snake could take on big giant crocodiles, and they can kind of show that right there. Look at that. How crazy is that? Can you see that? This was decently entertaining. I would have liked a little bit more, but if you're into like History Channel or Discovery Channel kind of stuff, where they find the different bones and they talk about all these different remnants, what could possibly have been, how big these creatures were, I think this will be one that you will enjoy. So there you go. It says, meet Titanoboa. She's longer than a bus, eats crocodiles for breakfast, and makes the anaconda look like a garter snake. So that's pretty crazy. I'll go ahead and show you the inside for this. Very cool disc artwork right there with the snake opening its mouth, get ready to attack you. So like I said, if you're into those channels that deal with like discovery and history and things like that and finding fossils, I think this is one you might enjoy. So there you go. There are my DVD and Blu-ray pickups. If you've seen any of them, definitely let me know what you think of them. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.